Hi, welcome to our next topic, water conservation techniques. In our previous topic, we studied about sustainable utilization of resources. And now we shall read about how to conserve water. We studied about how renewable and non-renewable sources of energy must be sustainably used, how we must conserve water. In this topic, we shall be covering about certain techniques where water conservation helps us replenish the groundwater and also improve the levels of water which are depleting. Water conservation. Why do we need to study about how to conserve water? Why do you need to know what's rain harvesting? Why do you need to know what's grey water use? So before we delve into the techniques of how to conserve water, let's delve a little deeper into why to conserve water. Because when the why is clear, the how becomes easy. So we should now be moving why to conserve water, and then we shall be moving how to conserve water. Let's take a look at this picture. Give it a thought. It looks like a man is taking his buffalo out in a desert. It looks like a desert, right? But no, this is not a desert. It's a dried up river, River Nimi. This picture that I just showed you used to be a riverbed area. It used to be a river. And look at it now, it's all dried up. It's all a drought area. And this picture was taken in 2024. It's a feature image where the villager is taking his cattle through a bone dry river Nimi, a tributary of Tans River in Dehradun, and after feeding it water from a syntax tank placed in the riverbed. The tank is filled with groundwater by a submersible installed. This tank that you see, he got his cattle fed from water in this tank, and this water in the tank is filled by a submersible in the ground. The natural river that used to exist dried up. This picture should be a reason enough for us to know why should we conserve water. This picture should be a ringing bell, an alarm for us to know why we should be working towards conserving water. Now that we know why we should be conserving water, we have also done various case studies in our previous module where we studied about a district in Maharashtra, about how water is being depleted, about how Amazon rainforests are being depleted, about how the Western Ghats are suffering so much. All of those studies, while keeping in mind, should be a reminder, should be a gentle reminder as to why we need to conserve water. And now that we know why we need to conserve water, let's go on to how to conserve water. There are various techniques: rainwater harvesting, drip irrigation, greywater system, recycling and reusing water. Rainwater harvesting. We used to know about this when our grannies used to put a bucket when it was raining, and they used to have a small pipe coming down from the shed attachment thing where they used to collect water falling from the slope into a pipe, and that water used to fall into a bucket. It used to be something of this sorts, that from this shed, when it used to rain, this was the house, the rain used to collect an attachment over here, and then this used to come down in a pipe and used to collect it in a bucket. Something as ancient and old as this. It's not a new thing. Rainwater harvesting. The rain is falling. It's having a runoff. These slopes in today's modern architecture are very much missing because it doesn't suit the aesthetic. So we need to go back to certain old infrastructural techniques which were so ecologically sound. Now when water has a runoff over this slope, it's collected through a piping system, it goes into a filter and it goes into a main tank after being in a filter. Instead of having a tank at the top where you use groundwater to fill your tanks, you are using rainwater to fill an underwater main tank, and then you have a pump, and instead of using the groundwater more and more, you're using this filtered water of the rain for different purposes which are not, of course you're not consuming it, you're not doing cooking with it, you are watering your garden. Instead of using that fresh water in your tank that you store to wash your car, to feed your plants, to wash your clothes, to flush the toilet, you're using this filtered water of the rain. And filtered water of the rain can very well be used to garden, very well used to wash the car, very well be used for washing clothes, for using in the toilet flush. And when you are doing gardening, this water will again seep down into the ground. When you are washing your car, this water will somehow again seep down. Apart from that, the most beautiful thing about this setup, that when you have a tank, like a regular tank like we have at the roof of our house, where we usually use a motor to take water in, when the water overflows, many of us have installed an alarm bell that rings and says that the tank is full, switch off the motor. The water overflows and it usually creates a chaos on your terrace. Now, in this system, if this tank has overflown, the water will go into a reservoir well and then to the ground. So this is replenishing the groundwater, and this is so nice of an idea. What do you think is grey water? I'll tell you about it when we finish this topic, but before that, what do you think is grey water? Does grey water refer to the color of water? Does it refer to the polluted water? Does it refer to the acid rain water? What does it mean? You'll know about it as we complete this topic. Grey water. So like we studied about rain harvesting system, let's study about other functions that where we are using water in our household and where all this water is being used up and how we can again reuse this water in certain ways. Let's say we have water coming from a tank. Let's put it on the top. We have a tank. Now this tank is sending water to the shower, is sending water to the taps, is sending water in the washroom for bathing, is sending water to XYZ things. Now, once we shower, where does that water go? Ideally, technically, without using this grey water use technology already. The shower water goes into the drain. It goes into the drain. The tap water also goes into the drain. The bathing water also goes into the drain. Plus, toilet. When you flush that water also goes into the drain, and most often all this water has a common outlet. It has a common outlet and it goes through the same sewage system most often. Now this is what usually happens. Let's now go and understand about what is greywater use. Greywater use is a little different from all that is happening commonly. Greywater use will not involve the toilet or flush water, but instead it will use the showered water. Now what is shower water? It's just water that has a little soap in it. It has a little dirt that has been removed from your body. Tap water in the sink, what does it have? It's water. You wash your hands, it's again a little bit of soap, a little bit of dirt. You brush your teeth, it's a little bit of paste, a little bit of your mouth's saliva. You take a bath, it's again soap, water and dirt from your body. It's not fecal matter. It has not in any way come in touch with the fecal matter. Now, this water, which is mostly water and dirt and could be soap, this water is sent, this water is grey water. First of all, the answer to our question, what is grey water? Grey water is the water that has not come in contact with feces. So this grey water is sent into a septic tank where the dirt settles. There's filters to remove dirt. The septic tank settles the soap elements, and the water is recycled and filtered a bit. And this recycled water now is used for purposes where you should not be using the direct tank water. Purposes like gardening, purposes like laundry, purposes like flushing the toilet waste matter, purposes like mopping. This is such a nice and ingenious way of using water in its optimum utilization way. So grey water use means that it is not wastewater. So this is not wastewater because it has not come in touch with the feces, and it could be repurposed for safe and beneficial use in yard irrigation here. It therefore serves the substitute fresh water for some purposes. Now instead of using the fresh tank water that you filled in your tank for all these not so very essential purposes where fresh water is required. Now it's not important that you will need fresh water for your gardening purposes, for your laundry purposes. It's not that important, right? Thus it allows for water conservation and reducing the amount of water sent into the sewage system for treatment. Now because all of this water is being used in this way, which means less water is being sent for sewage treatment, and all of this water that's being used here is a very good substitute for the fresh water of the tank. So this collection method is very simple as well. You can use as simple as in a manual way to do it with the bucket and a jug, or an automated integrated piping system. This thing in the new houses that are being built today should be really incorporated. It's a very sustainable method of reusing water, reusing, recycling, and reducing the wastewater. It's very important. It's a very nice and ingenious way of making the optimal utilization of water. Let me ask you a question before I end this topic. We all have aquifers at home, Kentaro, aqua purifiers, Pureit, this, that, because we know that drinking water directly that comes from the municipality is not very clean. So when we have installed that water purifier, it definitely has a discharge water pipe. Where does that discharge water in your kitchens go? Check that and see if you can make a small little grey water use of that water being wasted as well. Because it's nothing, it's just some extra minerals that your body doesn't require. But that bucket that gets filled to fill one big 5 liter amount of water, that bucket of water can be used for any of these purposes. So your takeaway from this topic should be to make a small grey water use of the aqua purifier water in your kitchen. With this, I end this topic. I hope you have something to take away and it motivated you to make a little change. I'll see you in the next topic. Thank you.